How's everybody doing?
Good.
Good. So here we go. A couple minutes early before the 9:30 open. Thursday, June 4th. Economic calendar doesn't seem to be too much, but there were numbers, initial job claims at 8:30 a.m. And I just remembered something. There we go. It's good. So these numbers came in a little bit higher. So unemployment or jobless claims a little bit higher than predicted. So is that having an impact on the markets? Not quite sure. Stocks mixed. S&P broke 9-day win streak yesterday. Broadcom, Avgo tumbles. SpaceX IPO, that'll be very interesting. I believe it's June 12th. That is something I'll be watching for sure. That'll be entertaining. Not planning on buying in unless there's a pullback, and that would be something for an investment. It would be an investment for my daughters. We've talked about it, and it's something that investing for 20 years. The market is open. Let's look at MNQ and MES, as well as ON Semiconductor down 6.5%. So the 8:30 numbers, not sure they had much of an impact, but we have been moving down since yesterday's highs. So made all-time highs again. And then from there, remember what I said, that I know that there's people that'll short here, and we'll leave it on for possibly weeks. And it might have been a good idea because from the highs of yesterday, we pulled back into the golden zone over here, made it a little bit higher, but it wasn't necessarily a trade for me. MES was better, but just been making our way down with small pullbacks since then. So is this a bottom for the recent decline? I don't know. It's at levels over here, higher time frame levels. So I'll be curious to see what happens at the open. And by that, I mean in the first 30 minutes. MES is a little bit higher. Didn't drop as much as MNQ. But on the drop here, it was dropping. I took a short here, actually, and I was not watching it, but it was something that had I been following it, I likely would have left it on, because these retracements, if you draw fibs starting from where we retraced, this was a 50% retracement. Then it broke down, and then on this, from here to here, this was close to a 50% retracement. But did it find a bottom now? I don't know. It'll be, let's go to the higher time frame. And I wouldn't be surprised if this continues, then it might come down to the 75 area. Gold was great this morning. I took a trade on gold this morning, and it was a profitable trade. Again, not something I was actively watching. You're not going to believe me, but I put the trade on and had to, I said it yesterday, I'm staining my deck, and I can't do it in the late afternoon because it's too sunny. So I started at 5 o'clock this morning and came in because I had an alert. I put an alert if we broke structure over here, and it did with momentum. Came to my computer, saw that it came into retest, and put a position in. And it got to 3R quickly, so I just took 80% off. Then I left my remaining contracts to get to the higher time frame and walked away. And my my stop was at break even. And when I came back in, saw that it had reached my target. Now, if I was actively trading this, which I probably should have, there's no reason to get 30% off here, or I mean 80%. It is hitting over here and then just blew past it. So could have been I think it could have been a 12-hour trade. I think my stop was close to there. Yeah, 11-hour, close to, if you get right to the top, then it's a 12-hour. Not quite sure I would have taken that. Probably would have taken the entire thing off over here instead. But it's green nonetheless. MCL just been chopping sideways. M2K has been doing the same. It's just been chopping sideways. Could be a liquidity sweep down here. That is a major wick down here. Curious to see if it comes and retests this level again and shows support again. It might be an entry, or somebody might be looking at taking an entry now for the possible move up. That's all I have to say about that. I don't know if anybody has any questions about the gold trade or anything else, or anything you guys want to share. Please don't hesitate. And if nobody's saying anything right this second, I'll be right back. I just need a drink. Yeah, back to 5 minute. By the way, the MGC trade, the other thing that gave me conviction was this choppy action or consolidation above yesterday's high. So it was definitely yesterday's high, and this higher time frame level here was definitely holding as support. So once we broke out a structure over here and retested, I had high conviction that we were continuing up. At the levels it's at now, not sure.
I think the PDT rule is officially scrapped today. So brokers are, I think brokers have from today until end of October.
The what, sorry?
The PDT rule.
Oh, is that yeah, that does. I'm in Canada, so it doesn't affect me. And with futures, I don't think it affects anyone, right?
No, it's just equities, yeah.
Yeah. But is it today that it comes out?
Officially from today, and they have until the end of October to implement it.
Okay, so it depends on your provider, your broker, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. No, thanks for sharing that, especially for the Americans in there, or my American students that trade equities. The PDT rule, the $25,000 minimum balance is changing. I'm not quite sure exactly what's happening. I know that it's changing, and is it 5,000 now that you need to have in your account?
I think it's 2.
It's sorry?
I think it's 2,000.
2,000. Wow. Yeah. So that I know a lot of people were predicting that Robinhood could benefit from this.
So it's 2,000, and I think the chips work. So now it's going to be more based on volatility and certain other things. So certain stocks you might get more margin than others.
Oh, okay. Yeah, thankfully in Canada, I never had to worry about that while I was learning. But in the States, a lot of people thought that it might be adding more people more retail traders into the markets. So adding more volume, more volatility is not a bad thing. At least not for the brokers, that's for sure. The Qs, see the Qs over here. I wouldn't trust a long right now, just because the low was put in, and I know I've talked about this before, but on the opposite side at the high, I don't trust that the low was put in during pre-market. If this is actually support, I'd like to see it being tested while the market's open. So right around here, I'd put a level. And personally, I wouldn't trust a long on Qs until we saw that this actually held as support. So let's see what happens. Same thing or similar thing with SPY. So I put a level here, look to the left. Yeah, just right where I put the level here. Oddly enough, these candles right here, right? Once we punch through it, these candles right here held as support. And since then, it has not been tested, right? Until after market yesterday and pre-market this morning. So not saying that it can't just take off from here, but personally, if I were trading SPY or Qs right now, or if I was looking at an option trade on this, I wouldn't feel comfortable unless I saw that these lows were actually tested during high volume. Similar situation with NQ. And I want to see here. Let me take these drawings off here. Come on. There we go. I don't know. I wasn't allowing it to click. There you go. Let's look left over here. So this was tested. See, this goes against what I was just saying. See how it came down and tested this low and then just took off from there. But as a rule, if I see a low being put in, I'd prefer to see it being proven during the live open, during regular trading hours. So MNQ, not planning on doing much, possibly doing nothing after 10:30. This could have been a liquidity sweep higher, just below yesterday's low. All right, so on MES here, this might be a rejection of the highs here, right? But we're just inside this range here. I would not be surprised to see the lows tested in the next hour or so. Gold, is it still strong? Yeah. Look at this move pre-market, and now during the live market hours, it's doing nothing. MCL is just chopping in a tight range. M2K did come and test the lows at the open. See, yesterday's low, pre-market low, and we wicked all the way down here, and then the buyers stepped in. I do not have an entry for this, and it's too early for me, but if somebody had traded the open, there might have been an entry right over here. Once you see it sweep down, you get a bullish candle. You go long on a break, a new high of that bullish candle, and stop below the entry candle. Aim for 3 or 4R. Let's put my 3 up there. Or more conservatively, below the wick of the low of day. And again, look for 3R. You got to go pretty high to get the 3R. And you've got to get above pre-market high. So this is a no bueno for me. MYM, wow. So the Dow is moving. Definitely, let's move this. Yeah, this was resistance. It was still resistance, even though we broke above it. We just chopped around. Interesting area right here on the Dow. If it were to spike up, actually, I want another level right up here, just to see where liquidity would lie. If it were to spike up here and reject, I would not be against taking a short here. A lot of room to the left. We could trap a lot of buyers up here. So if it wicks up there, I'm going to put an alert. If it wicks up there, I am going to pay attention. Too many levels at the bottom. At this point, we don't need them. And this I would put over here. There you go. So that's MYM. I just read that crypto is just tanking. Still put in a low here and just chopping around. I don't trade it, but if it were to spike up above this level, or even take out yesterday's low for the continuation down, because the trend is lower for sure. And then copper put in a low here and has been moving up. So the impulse move right now is lower. Started selling on MNQ. Started selling on this candle here. Right, but this is a higher time frame level of possible support. So do I want to short the 50 here for the continuation down? Personally, I do not. And this could be considered a double bottom. Right, so there's my MYM spiking up here. So for me to short over here, it would have to show a liquidity sweep, as in this candle right here would have to show the spike up and then a rejection. We still have 2 minutes, but the price definitely seems to have been accepted up here. So at this point, right, we had been in a downturn. Now we are breaking this area over here. So now this is possibly considered a break and retest. But if it rejects and comes back down here, which it seems to be possibly doing, then it could be a short to retrace. But it's been pretty strong since pre-market, since yesterday. I mean, since we got the lows here yesterday. Anybody else is looking at something, please don't hesitate. Nvidia's been inside this range here. Big red candle, but didn't leave much of a gap. Very curious to know what's going to happen with Tesla, with SpaceX, with the SpaceX IPO. There's a lot of rumors that SpaceX will eventually gobble up Tesla and put everything under the same roof. The robotics of Tesla, all the AI. MNQ is still just within the 30-minute candle. It's broken down a tiny bit below the 15-minute candle. MNG. Thanks for sharing, Garrick. MNG. Natural gas. Is that the one? MNG micro natural gas future. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, we're above yesterday's high. All right, so the break of structure over here. So we started buying up here. This was the next high from the impulse right here. We got to this high. This is where I would have drawn it. Came into the 50, put in 3 really strong support right at this line here. I could not make it lower than 2.288, 288, and 288. So exactly the same over here. And then broke out again. So at this point, I go to the top and I would move my fib to that bottom retrace. Right? And then let's see, will it retrace again 50% for the continuation up? And then for those ORB traders, I've never traded natural gas here, so I don't know how it acts. But this is a very strong bullish candle, first 5-minute candle, right? And on the break of that 5-minute ORB, the fact that it skipped a beat over here between the close and the open, it's very bullish. Right? So an entry over here with a stop below or stop at 50% or however one would trade this. Right there and aim for 3. Right there. Or this might be something that you get in and you just trail the stop. I don't know.
the micro Bitcoin also MBT. Looking at it on the 4 hours time frame, we can see that it got a little bit extended on the RSI on the 3rd of June yesterday. And it seems like it started putting a reversal pattern, maybe it just want to pull back to 67,000 or something. On the 5 minutes, and looking at the smaller time frames, we'll see like a Pearson tail. And after that, it made a higher low on the 30 minutes. It's pushing. Maybe it will try to go again to 64,700 or 65,700. On the 5 minutes, it's been clean. Also doing the retracement, 50% retracement, the golden zone.
Yeah, if you were to put thanks for sharing, Tarek. If you were to look at where we started buying, the latest impulse move, or I should say the impulse move, let's just look over here. I should do the here, I will do a replay because it gets confusing when we look at this. So let's look at a replay. All right, let's look at this. All right, so we can tell that we are buying right now. So the latest impulse move is higher. So from where we started buying over here to the tops, let's move it sideways. This would be the fib. From there, you look what happens in the golden zone. There you go. It accepted the golden zone. Sorry, I realized that when I was watching my video yesterday, it's hard to see when unless I zoom in. So in the golden zone over here, right, it came back, tested once, and then entry might be on a 1 or 2 minute. Let's go to a 1. Entry over here, right? This was a bullish candle. So entry could have been over there, over here with the stop below the previous candle. And you possibly would have been stopped out over here. But then it's showing a lot of strength over here, right? It just blew past over here. Not quite sure there's an entry there, but it did come into the 50. If you can figure out an entry over here, the 2 minute maybe. Just came down to the 61.8 and look how it just grabbed liquidity right below and then started moving up. And then now that let's get out of replay. Now that it retraced over here and is making new highs, then I would take this and move it to the latest impulse move. The latest impulse move is buying. So I would move this over here and look at, does it come into the 50? And it did. However, personally, I find this as possible strong resistance. So I'd be looking, can I get to 3R by getting involved in here? And you'd have to get in very close to the 50, right? Getting in once you get confirmation is too far away for the way that I trade it. So over here, stop there. Can you get to 3R before getting up here? Oh yeah, you can get to 7. So interesting. As far as the structure is concerned right now, I do not see it like reversing to start going up again. I don't, unless, what's the volume over here? Yeah, there was a lot of volume actually here. There was a lot of volume. So this is during, that was the Asia low right over here. And that's Asia high, that line I put in here. So this could be a strong resistance area. MNQ. These fibs are doing nothing right now. We're just chopping. MES is at the top of the range. Asia highs over here. If a candle can close above yesterday's low and show some strength, it might be a long. But honestly, over here, I wouldn't be surprised to see a dump. 5-minute time frame. This right now kind of looks like it could be a liquidity sweep. But let's see what happens with this candle. It is 10 a.m. I had shared news earlier, but just to get back and double check, there's nothing at 10 a.m. 10:30 natural gas storage, a 1-star. There's nothing that's a 3-star other than what was at 8:30 this morning. So curious to see what happens over here. This is something that I'd like to see. Do we just see a sweep up? Or do we see strength? Do we see actual buying coming in here? Because most recently, the sellers have been in charge. But getting close to yesterday's close will be an interesting area in here. Let's just see what do we got tomorrow. Employment. Oh, it is not non-farm payroll tomorrow. Tomorrow might be interesting. So this might be the kind of morning that watching paint dry is a little bit more interesting.
Yeah, not much happening.
Watching stain dry, I should say, because I have been staining my deck. So
Yeah, I got nothing.
Good morning, Joe, and everyone.
hey, good morning, Evo.
How you do?
Sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
How's it going with you?
Oh, it's going okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm green on the morning. I'm loving loving futures.
Yeah.
But I got a really nice gold trade this morning, and now it's like, I'll hang out with you guys for an hour, and I'll set some levels at 10:30. Actually, I could do it now. I'd like to know if we take out, right? These are by levels, I mean alerts. So I want to know, do we take out the lows? So on MNQ, right over here, actually, I want to know if that actually, no, just right above, right? If I put it below, then it might sweep down and start buying from there, and then I would miss it if it forms a kangaroo tail. So that at the bottom over here, if it forms a kangaroo tail, as long as there's an entry and possibility to get a good reversal. So that's what I want to know over here. As far as the tops are concerned, I could put an alert above today's high. MES, I'm going to be watching, but similar thing. I'd like to know, do we break today's high, which was just broken now? And today's low. Get that out of there. MGC seems to be pulling back. If it pulls back into this area over here, this should be, or could be, I should say, could be support at this level. So we might just be chopping around here, grab liquidity over here for the continuation for the next move up. MCL is just inside a range. Made a new low. And then what was I looking at earlier? MYM. See how MYM now is above this area that could have been resistance. So it came, it punched out of there. If it comes back in here, I'd like to be alerted. I'd like to know. Could be happening now. So let's put some fibs on here. So the move started, once we really started buying, was over here. That's the top. And look how that aligns very well, or very close to the area of possible resistance. Oh, that's not what I want to draw. There you go. So it was resistance. You would think that with AI, my computer would know that I changed the keyboard from English to French every single day. Every morning, I have to do it. And somebody's going to say, well, why don't you just put, I don't want my computer to be completely in French. I just need the keyboard to be the French, you know, the accent aigu, accent grave, and the question mark is shift 6 on a French keyboard. Anyway, yeah, so if it comes back here, but now we're breaking down, we're hitting the alert on MNQ as well as, what was the other one? MYM.
What's up with Dow? Seems to be heading in the opposite direction to MNQ and MES.
Somebody knows something. Yeah, look at that. It's, I mean, I don't need a question mark over here because it has broken through resistance. So I'm going to say support because I am confident that it should be support, right? Nothing's guaranteed. Let's move the fib up over here. So now I'd want an alert if it comes close to the 50. But this is like the 4th or 5th move up. So the more that we get, the less confident I am in taking a limit order. If I were to put a market order, then I will be looking at how it reacts to the 50. MNQ at the bottoms. Do we get some volume? Do we get buyers up here? If not, then it could just be continuing down. And gold. And gold. I want an alert to see over here. Actually, we're right there, so I'll look at it and be curious to see what happens here. All right, we punched up and then came back. This was an area of support. It was resistance on these candles. 1, 2, 3 candles was resistance, just punched right through it, then came back and it was support. So I want to know, will it be support again? Let's just grab one of these lines here and put it here. Will it be support again? Right? Is it just sweeping down here to get the stops of those longs that have stops below here? Or is it truly retracing? This could be considered a double top. Right? First top in pre-market, second top once we opened. Did put in a 5-minute selling fair value gap. So how it reacts to this level is very interesting. What's oil doing? Oil's doing nothing. It's still, yeah, still just chopping around that area. MYM if this was 51,576 area, the top here, if there was a level of resistance there, then I might consider taking a short. So to see if it was, you need to zoom out. And it's all-time highs. So very hard to tell if this is an actual level of resistance. And that's the difficulty with all-time highs. You have to use measured moves or cam levels. What are the cam levels over here? Yeah, we're above R6. Yeah, I do not like shorting above R6. So for now, let's see if it comes back into the 50 / support zone. At this point, I'd be curious to see what happens with MNQ. Because if it rejects this area, if it spikes up and rejects it again, I mean, this could be a short. If we really sell, I mean, we definitely could be heading lower. Level there.
God, just come on, Buster. Excellent. I mean, I took a trade on RDW. That's Robert David Washington. It's a NYSE ticker, Redwire Corp. They had some news this morning. They got a contract. And my entry, 2025. I'm unfamiliar with the stock, so I parceled along the way. But I still have about 30% of my position remaining here. So my target is, I was looking at the high from June 2nd, which is around 22.15. And beyond that, if we can get to 22.77, which would be the high from June 1st. So let's see, we're in a DeMarc sequence. I think there's still room to go. But like I said, with tickers that I've never traded before, that's where I usually like to kind of protect my gains because I'm just not sure how it moves. And that's kind of how I usually play those. With ones that I'm comfortable and familiar with, I like to let them hold for the target. But
Yeah.
so far, so good.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing, Evo. Did you read what the headline is?
Oh, you're gonna love this.
Yeah.
Redwire shares were 11% higher after the company said it had been awarded a contract from Astrobiome Space from Luxembourg to grow strawberries and test their proprietary soil enhancement product inside their greenhouse systems for the International Space Station. Isn't that cool?
Yeah. Very interesting.
Strawberries.
Anything space related is especially with SpaceX IPO next week. Interesting area, interesting domain. I mean, this I don't know anything about this company, but this might be something that some people are going to invest in, right? Not just trade, but invest in for the massive growth. I just wanted to say your entry was right at the break of the structure over here, right? A previous high. So if I put a level over here, H, right? That was the breakout for me. Was there a retest? Well, there's probably a 50% retracement. There's the breakout candle. There's the high. There's a 50. Load the boat, off you go.
Yeah.
So yeah, hey, thanks for sharing. Where do you mind me asking where do you scan to get, this RDW and, different things that you look at?
Sometimes I look at stock twits to see if anything's running. And I'll also check into variable traders just to see what tickers they're kind of looking at, because I know how they tend to trade.
Do you look just, are they still live on YouTube?
Yeah, they're still live on YouTube. So I'll
Because
check in for just a few minutes to see what they're looking at.
That's a good idea.
They have a really nice scanner, and sometimes I'll look at their sort of pre-market and see, what things are running pre-market. But yeah, space is hot right now, so I thought I'd take a trade in this and see what happens.
Yeah. Awesome. Good trade.
Thank you.
Yeah. This over here did it give me an entry? Didn't really give an entry here, but I like that we came down. Remember what I said, that I do not trust along unless we take out liquidity below the low during RTH. And we did. Now, is this enough to actually start reversing and start climbing? I don't know. We'll see. That is a big green candle. But all these levels here can be resistance. So it could be a very choppy way back to the highs. Curious to see what's going to happen with these wicks over here. Right? We could not get any higher than this earlier. So if they're rejected again, we could be making our way lower. I'm assuming MCL is getting close to the lows. And MES is getting close to the highs. So again, just watching. This came to my alert and didn't alert me. Or, I mean, it didn't trigger. 51,470. The low is, why is it hard to see? 51,472. So it did not trigger the alert. So I'm not doing anything. Let's look at the 5-minute. Right? Hasn't made its way to the 50 yet. So I'm going to wait. I am not going to put in the limit order long just because we have moved all this already, right? It's probably very close to the ATR max right now. But I will look at it and possibly take a long if it dips into the 50, even dips into the 50 and gets close to 61.8. And then buyers step in again, because the buyers are definitely most recently in control. MNQ strong. Let's see what happens at these wicks. Took along on MNQ 3170. 3170. Whoa, it's right down here. Awesome. Good long. Right, if we take out these stops, then we could absolutely get a continuation here. There's my alert on MYM. Right, getting close to the 50. If I were to take a trade, go to paper trading, it would be a limit buy. Stop would be below the 61.8. Entry would be close to the 50. And I would go with risk just for Example purposes, it would be 6 contracts to get close to 100. Sorry. Yeah. Thanks, Will. I forgot that you, I need to work on that. Sorry, you were saying to the penny. Yeah, this we were looking at the 50%, right? Once it broke out, came back. I think that's the one. I don't know why I took off the fib, but look, that's where it was. Right, came back in 50%, off it goes. It often does that. Look at this one. Started buying, went to the top. I start, I'm on the 1 minute. I like being on the 5. Right. But when you're looking at really short time frames, then you need to be on the 1 minute. But yeah, the 50% retracement works often. MYM did not come into the 50 yet. I would be hesitant in taking along if it breaks the high. We haven't retraced yet, and then we've got the wicks at the top. Curious to see what is MNQ doing at those wicks. It's still rejecting there. So but on a 1 minute time frame, we started buying over here. So when we pull back, does it stop at the 50 for the continuation? So if you're long, that's what I'd be looking at. And does the 50 hold up? If the 50 breaks and it breaks the 61.8, then if I was long, I would be either taking profit, or if my stop, if I felt confident where my stop was and I didn't hit my target yet, I'd likely leave it on. 1022. Yeah, so MNQ is very, I'm curious. Let's go back to the 5. I want to know if it breaks this high. So that's the alert that I want to know. MYM, will it come down and poke through the 50? I'm going to put another alert again in case I'm not watching. If it makes a little bit below that wick. Are you still in your RDW?
No, I exited. We had a pretty big pullback candle in the 5 minute. It still may run, but it got to 2160, which is about, it's sort of like 2-ish points shy of that first target. And what I've noticed in my experience is that even though I may have targets in mind, price doesn't always get there. Sometimes it falls short about a point or two. And again, since I'm not really familiar with this stock, I just thought, oh, okay, I'll just exit here and walk away asymmetrical in the day, and I'm good.
Yeah, yeah, no. And you follow your own rules, and you know what's dangerous is when you aim for, and again, this is generally speaking or from experience, is when I was aiming for 3R or 4R back in the day. And I would be well on my way there, and I would see 1R print, 1.5R print, and I'd take it off. And eventually it would get to 3R or 4R. So it was all those trades that you have to be able to pay for the -1s. So for me, I like leaving it on for 3 and -1. And over time, over 100 trades, if you stick to that and you have an edge, as in you're correct more than 40% of the time, and I believe at 3R it's 25% of the time that you need to be correct. But if you're correct 40% of the time at 3R, then it's a it's a positive risk to reward. So
Yeah.
MNQ, it's still poking up there. Right, very, very interesting area.
Looks like the SPY wants to
MNQ is
Sorry.
just taking out liquidity up here, and then SPY making new highs. Yeah, there might be some FOMO going on, right? Because this has been strong. So did we actually find enough buyers here to actually continue on and make new highs? MNQ has poked above here. Saber, I believe it was Saber that was in that trade. Yeah, I hope you're still in it.
To me, it seems like the SPY's got a little bit of room to go, maybe to 756.50. That's where the SMA 200 is in the 30-minute chart, but the Qs have got a little bit of resistance above with SMAs around 740 and a quarter and 741.50-ish. So on the 30 minutes. So it seems like the SPY has a little bit more room to expand than the Qs, just from my bird's eye view. I don't know. You got any take on that, Joe?
Yeah, no, I won't disagree with you. I just put a level here, which was support over here. Then it became resistance. It was resistance this morning. So I don't pay attention until it's at a level. So for me on the Qs, I'd like to see what will it do at this level, right? And this is the IB, right? This is the initial balance, the first hour. I want to see what will it do within. Right now, we're just within that first 30-minute candle still, right? Or the first two 30-minute candles. So when we're within this range, for now, I do nothing. If it punches out of here and then retests, I wouldn't be against taking a long, especially on the Qs. And then the SPY. The SPY over here, this was the low of yesterday, and we've already punched above it, right? We had 3 wicks over here. So I'm going to put a level. I like looking at these white lines here. So this was support. It came down. It retested as resistance. Then it was resistance on, again, I need to remember to zoom in. Let's do that. It was resistance over here. Again, 2 other candles, but then we punched out above it. Now that we're above it, and the 5-minute candle has broken out above with momentum, I'd be looking at the possibility of it retesting for the continuation higher, right? And it's got room to go, right? There's a lot of room to the left here. It was there yesterday. I mean, the latest resistance right before the close was right around here. Right, and then from there resisted twice over here and then came down. So if I were long here, this would be my next target.
If that 753-ish level can hold there, which was sort of the value area from yesterday or the past session.
Yeah, and then where are the cam levels on SPY? Yeah, we're just in between R3 and R4 here. Yeah, but if I were long here, I would be aiming for R4. MNQ will be interesting at this level. Right, it was resistance right at the open. I want to know what it does over here. If it spikes up and rejects, it could be a short back to the bottom. If it breaks out and retests, it could be along looking for these levels, right? Yesterday's low, pre-market high, yesterday's close. It is 10:29. This loud alarm is going to go off, so I'll turn it off. 10:30. There we go. Yeah, with that, I'm going to walk away. Going to finish staining my deck as long as the sun is not too bright, and I'll be back tomorrow.
That sounds like fun. You're gonna have a big celebration once you're done.
Yeah, it's you know what? One of these days I need to find a composite material. I can't stand having to take care of wood in our climate over here.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't last. So yeah, I'll stain it and then look at the possibility of composite for next summer or the summer after instead of staining. So yeah, fun times. You know what? It's a great day when you can be outside and sunny, warm weather. No complaints.
That sounds awesome. Get out the barbecue or whatever, and
Yeah,
enjoy the fruit of your your labor there. And yeah, we will be back tomorrow.
I'll be back here tomorrow for sure. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jill. As always, it's great.
Yeah.
You lead the way.
Thank you, and thanks for the conversations and the questions, everyone. And Tony, thanks a lot for sharing about the PVC being hot. I haven't done enough research on it. I just love the idea that it's maintenance free. We're actually looking at the possibility of taking the deck out and just putting a concrete slab down. I like that idea as well. So anyway, enough about my deck, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. All right.
So you sent some pictures in our chat when it's done. Let's check it out.
Sure. We'll do so. All right.
Adios.
Yeah. Have a great day. See you tomorrow, gang.